but also our final act, a spoken word artist who is here to conclude this conference. I would like to introduce to you Roziena Salihu. She is a multidisciplinary maker where the word is the foundation of everything she does. She tells stories, writes poems, and performs as a spoken word artist. Roziena attended several sessions of the conference in the last 3 days, and I would like to give her the floor. Give her a round of applause here.
Thank you, everyone. Last week I found myself thinking about our planet as it is. I thought about all the things we've done to it, about the promises governments made but couldn't keep. I found myself hopeless in a way, but still longing for it, thinking that skill models, research, and data would somehow solve our problems. Now, firstly, I don't know much about this subject. I don't know anything about deltas or the regions that house them. In my day-to-day life, I'm more concerned about cultural politics. As I've said before, when climate stress hits me, all I can do then is long for hope. It was last Tuesday that I found some, felt it gushing through my veins. I felt the stress fade away until just optimism remained. This week reminded me there's still good people out there, resilient people who look for relevancy, enhancements, and understand that making this planet a little bit better is more than just skill models, research, and data, although that is what they're very good at. There's one thing this week that I've heard over and over, saw it in almost every single speech, that in order to solve the problems, we have to start with our people, that we need to connect and inspire. We can't just impose knowledge, but we have to learn from the locals. In the words of Antonio Guterres, this is a time for science and solidarity. As Salim al-Houk beautifully said it, people who are being affected by climate change are no longer vulnerable communities, but coping communities who have been living in these circumstances. And what sparked hope in me these last couple of days is the willingness of the locals and the PhD students from all over the world to learn, to educate each other. If there's one thing all of the projects and the people behind them possess, it's the awareness of the shared responsibility we have. Gabriel Bemmer said, "Knowledge is an island in the ocean." And I couldn't agree more. The edges of the island tell us how far our abilities reach. This week, I witnessed all of you waving from that island with a welcoming laugh, building the future in your own personal style and reaching for the hands of the ones that arrive on shore, as if you saw them coming, approaching in boats. This week, I've learned how you're holding up on that island, how it's only possible to live there if the sea level stops rising, how it's either think or sink. When you need water to drink on your island of knowledge, clean water, you made a DIY methodology for water and hygiene, enhancing local capabilities, to make sure your island is healthy in its entirety, to the core, so you will only rise and no longer fall. That when you need fish to eat, you need help from your fishermen, from the people that actually know the sea, and I've noticed that you all understand that. Like Doris van Halen put it, the climate crisis is a water crisis. And it's not something a few white 50-plus men can solve. The issue is complex and demands a collective approach. Now this week, I didn't hear you brag about how you touched other people's hearts. Instead, you explained how they touched yours. For me, that sounds like a point from which we should more often start, in our day-to-day lives, in the way we talk to each other. And if you don't brag about yourselves, well, then I definitely will. Coming from a regular person, just a local here, you've already done so much work. Been all over the world, from the Netherlands to Ghana, Vietnam and Indonesia, to South Africa, Mozambique, Bangladesh and India. There's been grants for 23 projects in 8 countries for 30 PhD students and 18 postdoctoral researchers. You've already done so much work. You did the research. You've been building trust and shaking trees just hard enough, so local institutions change their known. You've asked yourself how to communicate, how to translate accordingly. You make your message find the people who make the policies. You've examined the bridges between you and them. You got the building blocks to continue this process. And this week, you had me find some hope again. So I ask you to realize that what you're doing is history in the making, and that all started with the barriers you're breaking.